Please, settle down, everyone. The bride has a gift for us all.
I was surprised. What gift is he talking about? I hadn't prepared any gift. I turned to Mark and he had an anticipating look on his face. I asked him, "Did you prepare any gift in my name?"
Huh? I didn't. What do you mean?
I was even more confused. Anyway, I decided to wait and see what the gift was all about. I watched as two ladies came out and began sharing white envelopes to everyone, including myself. Loud gasps escaped from everyone's mouth. My hands were shaky too as I took out the contents. They were pictures I took with my ex-boyfriend years ago. I woke up that morning, filled with excitement. My friends came in, all wearing big smiles on their faces. It was my wedding day with Mark, a man whom I'd known for 3 years. After dressing up, my friends and I left the hotel room for the church. My father walked with me to Mark and handed my hand to him. It was an emotional moment. We'd exchanged our vows, and soon it was time to conclude the event and move to the venue for the main partying. But a young pastor suddenly interrupted the moment.
Please, settle down, everyone. The bride has a gift for us all.
I was surprised. What gift is he talking about? I hadn't prepared any gift. I turned to Mark and he had an anticipating look on his face. I asked him, "Did you prepare any gift in my name?"
Huh? I didn't. What do you mean?
I was even more confused. Anyway, I decided to wait and see what the gift was all about. I watched as two ladies came out and began sharing white envelopes to everyone, including myself. Loud gasps escaped from everyone's mouth. My hands were shaky too as I took out the contents. They were pictures I took with my ex-boyfriend years ago. I turned to Mark and saw the heavy disappointment on his face.
How could she do that? Unfaithful woman.
I feel bad for poor Mark.
She's a disgrace to women. I could hear their comments, and that plunged me even deeper into the pit of shame I had been forced into. The guests stood up one by one and walked out of the hall. The main problem was that I hadn't changed at all, making it look like they were recently captured. I turned to Mark again, but before I could speak, his parents came up to me.
You slut, how could you do this to my son?
After 3 years, how could you cheat on him and disgrace us like this?
Unable to cope with everything that was suddenly happening, I stood up and ran out of the church. As I climbed down the small stairs, I missed my steps and fell flat on my face. The few people around burst into laughter, pointing at me with mocking gazes. I was embarrassed. With tears in my eyes, I picked my dress up and ran off to the car, started it, and returned to the hotel. I buried my face in the pillow, crying heavily. The door suddenly opened a few minutes later. I raised my head and turned to see Mark standing by the door. I quickly stood up and rushed to him. Those were old pictures. I would never cheat on you for any reason. Everything in those pictures happened more than 5 years ago. I explained to him in tears. It was true. I dated my ex 6 years ago. We had so much fun that I thought I would be with him forever. But he cheated multiple times and I was forced to leave him after 1 year.
Shh, it's fine. I know you'll never cheat on me. But why didn't you tell me about him?
I didn't want to bring the past into our relationship. I'm so sorry, Mark. He told me his parents were furious with me, which made me cry even more. It hurt to see his parents who loved me so much get disappointed. I asked if I could go back to the church to see them and explain to them, but he refused. According to him, they'd left already, and it wasn't the right time to talk to them since they were still angry. Mark comforted me and assured me that he'd take me to them when they were calm. The next afternoon, we both went to his parents.
What is this whore doing here?
Leave my house and never show your face to my son again.
Mark and I immediately went on our knees with folded palms. Yes.
She didn't cheat on me. It's all a setup. Please, forgive her.
Yes. I dated him many years before I met Mark. He cheated on me multiple times, that's why we broke up. I have no idea why those pictures were released. Please, believe me. After much explanation and pleadings, they finally became calm. Mark's father promised to find whoever released them.
If it turns out that you're cheating on my son, I'll ensure I find a reason to make you rot in jail.
I was innocent. I agreed with him, and the investigation began. Our plans for our second honeymoon had to be postponed. I was unable to move freely or even attend events. as those who attended my wedding anniversary spread the news that I was cheating on Mark with someone else. The one time I summoned courage to attend church, my pastor preached against cheating throughout the day.
If you're a woman, have eyes for only one man and vice versa.
Everyone's eyes occasionally turned to me. I was so uncomfortable and had to leave before the service was over. My eyes were always puffy from too much crying, and my eye bags got bigger because I could hardly get any sleep. My father-in-law didn't hire the police for the investigation. Instead, he used 2 private investigators. They looked into the case for 2 weeks, and those 2 weeks were the worst weeks of my entire life. One day, I was scrolling through my newsfeed and saw a post from one of my wedding attendees. She had a picture of Mark and I with our faces blurred and a caption that read, "She cheated on her lovely husband with another man." I was devastated. My phone fell from my hand as I broke into tears again. One day, I got a call from my father-in-law asking me to meet him somewhere. He said to bring Mark along with me. I couldn't help but wonder what was going on. Nevertheless, I did as he asked. Together, Mark and I went over to the address he sent to us. When we got there, I was surprised to see a familiar man kneeling between 2 hefty men. Jordan? Once he turned, his face got clearer. It was my ex.
He's the culprit. My men went to those in charge of those things at the hutch and requested to check the camera footage for that day. Luckily, they had it installed. It was in that way that we discovered that this man had kidnapped the person who was meant to be in charge of the gifts and taken over instead. He lied that you requested for those envelopes to be shared.
I learned from them that it took a long time to find him. And when they did, it was discovered that the person had died in his house. In fact, he was going to bury the already decomposing body before he was caught. I was more than shocked. I asked the reason for such an evil act, and he revealed that he was jealous seeing me getting married to someone else. According to him, releasing the pictures was the only way he could cause us to break up. I was raged. How dare you, Jordan? You made me leave you. You cheated on me so many times. Did you expect me to stay? Mark treats me better than you ever did.
That makes me hate him even more. He took you from me.
My father-in-law wanted to report him to the authorities, but my husband begged him not to. He didn't want more people talking about us. I stormed out of the house, raged. My father-in-law didn't want to, but he was forced to grant his son's wish and let the man go. That turned out to be a great mistake. 2 weeks later, Mark came home complaining about someone stalking him. According to him, whenever he turned, the person would hide.
Someone ambushed me in the elevator at my company and stabbed my arm. He told me he'd kill me the next time. I do recognize his voice. It was your ex.
I couldn't take it. I was immensely worried. For him to stab my husband as a warning, he'd do something worse next time. I contacted my father-in-law first before the authorities. Luckily for us, he was still at his hideout, but when the authorities tried entering his apartment, he tried to run and was shot on the leg. The police searched his house, and we found the knife.
You'll never be happy with her. Chloe belongs to me.
I was scared, angry, and disappointed seeing him like that. The case became popular again once news got out that the man who set me up had been found. He was charged with kidnapping, murder, attempted murder, and defamation of character. The judge gave him a long sentence, and I was satisfied. I hope you die in jail. And I hope you don't ever find us again, you obsessed psycho. While in the prison, I heard that his mental health deteriorated badly, and he began to see me in everyone. A year later, news got to me that he killed someone with the thought that the man was Mark. That brought him to court again. His mental health was the only thing that helped him escape getting sentenced to death. The judge added more years to his term. He wouldn't be released until he was in his 80s. That was a relief for us.